श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण everyone. So today is 12th of November, Sunday, Kartika Masa, Damodara Masa, and the Chaturdasi Tithi, Krishna Paksham, and the Chaturdasi Tithi. So there are two events today. So one is Naraka Chaturdasi, and there are few other events. So I think which are not related to Vaishnava events. So about Naraka Chaturdasi, so we shall read a few lines from iskandevati.com. So today, this day, Naraka Chaturdasi day, celebrates the victory of Lord Krishna over the demon Narakasura. So Krishna Paksha Chaturdasi of the month of Kartika is known as Naraka Chaturdasi. Bhaumasura, who was also known as Narakasura, was the son of Dharitri, the earth goddess by the Lord himself. But he became a demon due to the bad association of Bana, another demon. An atheist is called a demon, and it is a fact that even a person born of good parents can turn into a demon by bad association. Narakasura kidnapped many daughters of great kings and kept them imprisoned in his palace. Narakasura was powerful and he took pleasure in terrorizing the inhabitants of the three worlds. Narakasura would raid and plunder the kingdoms of the three worlds. He did not even leave the women and would kidnap them. Narakasura heard that Indra, the king of the Devas, had thousands of divine elephants in his army. Now, Narakasura, who was greedy, wanted to possess everything, so he attacked the heavens. After Narakasura stole Varuna's umbrella, Mother Aditi's earrings, and the playground of the demigods known as Maniparvata. Indra, feeling humiliated at his loss and even worse that his mother was assaulted, wanted to revenge, and he knew that there was only one person who was the match for Naraka. It was Krishna. Indra went to Dwarka and described the demon's transgressions to Lord Krishna. Krishna, who was in the company of Satyabhama, was enraged that Narakasura might lay his hands on Mother Aditi and said that Narakasura must die for his insolence. Satyabhama looked annoyed because Krishna was about to leave her. Wanted to please both Satyabhama and Indra, Krishna decided to take Satyabhama with him into battle. Together with Queen Satyabhama, the Lord mounted his carrier Garuda and traveled to the capital of Narakasura's kingdom. On the field outside the city, he decapitated the demon Mura with his disc. Then he fought Mura's 7 sons and sent them all to the abode of death, after which Narakasura himself entered the battlefield on the back of an elephant. Narakasura threw his Shakti lance at Sri Krishna, but the weapon proved ineffective, and the Lord cut the demon's entire army to pieces. Finally, with his sharp-edged disc, Krishna cut off Narakasura's head. Bhumi Devi then sang hymns in praise of Krishna and begged him to take Narakasura's son Bhagadatta under his protection. Krishna placed Bhagadatta on the throne and then freed all of Narakasura's prisoners. The Devas showered Krishna with flowers from the heavens. The earth goddess Prithvi then approached Lord Krishna and gave him the various items Narakasura had stolen. She offered the prayers to the Lord and presented Narakasura's frightened son at Lord Krishna's lotus feet. After pacifying the demon son, Krishna entered Narakasura's palace, where he found 16,100 young women. As soon as they caught sight of the Lord, they all decided to accept him as their husband. The Lord sent them to Dwarka along with a great quantity of treasure and then went with Queen Satyabhama to the abode of Indra. There he returned Aditi's earrings, and Indra and his wife Sachi Devi worshipped him. On Satyabhama's request, Lord Krishna uprooted the heavenly Parijata tree and put it back on the back of Garuda after defeating Indra and the other demigods who opposed his taking of the tree. Krishna returned with Queen Satyabhama to Dwaraka, where he planted it in a garden adjacent to Satyabhama's palace. So that is about the pastime of Naraka Chaturdasi, the killing of Narakasura demon. That is from the event's perspective. So we shall quickly enter into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Parikshit, so he has re-established the three lost legs of the Dharma, and then he has encouraged with his words Dharma and Mother Earth. So in the last verse we see Urhashya Nastan Trin Padhan Tapah Sautyam Dhayamiti Triti Sandada Aswasya Mahimcha Samavadhayat. So now Kali Purusha is also happy and he has re-established the last three legs of the Purusha, the bull. Nastan Trin Padhan Tapah Sautyam Dhaya. So this is austerity, cleanliness, and mercy. And then truthfulness is the another leg. So totally 4 legs. Pratisandada Aswasya, and re-established, and also he has encouraged with his words. So then by encouraging activities, Mahimcha Samavadhayat, and also encourage Mother Earth, saying that you do not have to worry anymore. So I am here, I am going to rule the kingdom. No miscreants will take any kinds of mischievous activities. So likewise, Suta Goswami says, and then further Suta Goswami is saying, in such a way, Parikshit, after encouraging Dharma and Mother Earth, he is ruling the kingdom, which he has inherited from the Pandavas. When Pandavas were leaving to Mahaprasthana, leaving to the forest, at the time they have given that kingdom. So Parikshit is now ruling that kingdom. And Parikshit is establishing all the glories of the Pandavas further ruling from the Hastinapura, and the most fortunate Parikshit. So likewise, Suta Goswami is saying, now he is bringing that pastime into the presence very beautifully. So we are in the first canto, chapter 17, verse number 43 and 44. स एष एतर्हि अध्यास्ता आसनं पार्थिवोचितं पितामहेन उपन्यस्तं राज्ञारण्यं विवेक्षता आस्ति अधुना सा राजर्षिः कौरवेन्द्र श्रियोल्लसन् गजाह्वये महाभागः चक्रवर्ती बृहश्रवाः स एष एतर्हि अध्यास्ता. So now in this particular time, so he is bringing the past into the presence. Sayesha etarhi adhyasta. Now Parikshit is ruling the kingdom. Asanam pardhivochitam. And it is appropriate. He is sitting on the appropriate throne and he is ruling the kingdom. Sayesha atarhi adhyasta asanam pardhivochitam. Pitamahena upanyastam. And he has inherited from the Pitamaha, his grandfather Yudhishthira. Pitamahena upanyastam Rajna Aranyam Vivikshata. So the Yudhishthira, the king, when he was leaving to Aranyam by his desire, the timely retirement of the Pandavas. At that time, they have handed over this all the Kuru kingdom to Parikshit. Pitamahena upanyastam rajnya aranyam vivikshata. Now, asti aduna sarajashihi, asti aduna sarajashihi. Now, he is present in that kingdom. Aste aduna sarajashihi. The Parikshit is Rajashi. He is the Rishi among the kings, the saintly king. Asti aduna sarajashihi. Kauravendra Sriya Ullasan. And Kauravendra, the chief amongst the Kurus, and Shriya Ullasan, he is expanding the glories of the Pandavas, all the Kauravas. In the sense, the Kuru dynasty. Kauravendra Shriya Ullasan, Gajahvaya Mahabagaha, and in the Hastinapura, Gajahvaye. In Hastinapura, Mahabagaha, he is the most fortunate king. Chakravati Bhuhashravaha, Chakravati is the emperor, and he is ruling the entire world. So many kings are reporting to him, so that's why he is called emperor. Emperor is more than a king. So Gadahvaya Mahabagaha Chakravati Bhuhashravaha, he is highly famous. So now he is present in the Hastinapura, ruling all the kings and all the entire world. Likewise, Suta Goswami is saying, bringing the past time into the presence. Sayehi etarihi adhyasta asanam padhyochitam pitamahena upanyastam rajnya aranyam vivikshata asti adhuna sarajashihi Kauravendra Shriyollasan Gajahvaye Mahabagaha Chakravati Bhuhashravaha. So that is likewise Suta Goswami is saying. So translation for this verse is, the most fortunate emperor Maharaja Parikshit, who was entrusted with the kingdom of Hastinapura by Maharaj Yudhishthira when he desired to retire to the forest, is now ruling the world with great success due to his being glorified by the deeds of the kings of the Kuru dynasty. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The prolonged sacrificial ceremonies undertaken by the sages of Naimisharanya were begun shortly after the demise of Maharaja Parikshit. The sacrifice was to continue for 1000 years, and it is understood that in the beginning, some of the contemporaries of Baladeva, the elder brother of Lord Krishna, also visited the sacrificial place. According to some authorities, the present tense is also used to indicate the nearest margin of time from the past. In that sense, the present tense is applied to the reign of Maharaja Parikshit here. For a continuous fact, also, present tense can be used. The principles of Maharaja Parikshit can be still continued, and human society can still be improved if there is determination by the authorities. We can still purge out from the state all the activities of immorality introduced by the personality of Kali if we are determined to take action like Maharaja Parikshit. He allotted some place for Kali, but in fact, Kali could not find such places in the world at all, because Maharaja Parikshit was strictly vigilant to see that there were no places for gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. Modern administrators want to banish corruption from the state, but fools as they are, they do not know how to do it. They want to issue licenses for gambling houses, wine and other intoxicating drug houses, brothels, hotel prostitution, and cinema houses, and falsity in every dealing, even in their own, and they want at the same time to drive out corruption from the state. They want the kingdom of God without God consciousness. How can it be possible to adjust two contradictory matters? If we want to drive out corruption from the state, we must first of all organize society to accept the principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. And to make the condition favorable, we must close all places of gambling, drinking, prostitution, and falsity. These are some of the practical lessons from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada has given very beautiful points. So the first thing is, so this is Parikshit is ruling the kingdom of the Kuru in the sense the entire world. So as Parikshit was able to give some places for the Kali, and he is ruling his kingdom very peacefully and bringing that pastime to the present. So that means here we also see we can also bring such kind of into the present tense here into our life. So especially in Krishna consciousness society, we see it is a peaceful life. There are no other material elements would be disturbing the devotees. So that is what we hear. Prabhupada is saying this present tense can still be continued, can still be improved if there is determination by the authorities. See, this is very beautiful point for a continuous factor. So we could see still Parikshit is ruling our mind, our heart. We are every moment we are examining whether these things are intoxication, gambling, illicit association, and slaughtering or violence. Whether these are happening within our body, within our mind, by our activities. If we make sure that they are not happening, then that is continuing. And also in our society, in our home, in our family and community, in our countries, likewise. So it spread into various higher levels up to the universe. So yeah, for a continuous fact, also present tense can be used. The principles of Maharaja can be still continued, and human society can still be improved if there is a determination by the authorities. We can still purge out from the state all the activities of immorality introduced by the personality of Kali if we are determined to take action like Maharaja Parikshit. See, this is very beautiful. And we are not enemies of Kali. Kali will be there, but he would only influence Aprati Buddha Chetasam, who are not Krishna consciousness. But Krishna consciousness, he cannot influence. And also here, if we observe the Krishna's pastimes from the historical perspective, when the Rama Harshana was giving this pravachanas to all the sages, they have blessed Rama Harshana, who is the father of Sudha Goswami, with a longer life. And then when Lord Balarama came to that place at that time, he could not stand up from his Vyasasana, and then Lord Balarama with taking the blade of grass, and then he killed him with the grass by chanting hymns, and he was killed. But later on, all the sages they made a plea to Balarama, so we have blessed him for a long life. Then Balarama said, so he offended, even though he was uh, saying talking on the scriptural injunctions when I'm here, so he disrespected. Then how can he be eligible? So after saying that, on the plea of the sages, Balarama says, I can make him alive again. But they said to Balarama, oh my dear Lord, it is your desire to do that one. Let it be. But we have blessed him. Make it, and then make it true. So Balarama made his son Suta Goswami or Ugrashrava to live longer life. And then that Ugrashrava or Suta Goswami, he has come to the Naimisharanya sages and then explaining that story, whatever happened in the past. So that means Suta Goswami has a prolonged life with the blessings of Lord Balarama. He is between conjunction between connecting all the stories here. Hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam from the Sukadeva Goswami during the Parikshit time, and then he's narrating the same story to the Savanakadi sages. So likewise, Suta Goswami is explaining that. So that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's why here it says, Sayesha Etarhi Adhyasta. Now Parikshit is ruling the kingdom, bringing the past time into the present tense as well. And also this past time as well. So Prabhupada has given some information about it. सयेषेतर्हि अध्यास्त आसनं पाद्यवोचितं पितामहेन उपन्यस्तं राज्ञारण्यं विवक्षत आस्ति अधुना सा राजर्षिः कौरवेन्द्रशियोल्लसन् गजाह्वय महाभागः चक्रवर्ती बृहश्रवाः. Likewise, Sruti Goswami is saying to Saunaka, the sages. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall quickly enter into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today it is a letter to Arundhati, November 2nd, 1969, Tettenhurst. Can I request any dear devotees to read this letter? It is a long letter.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. If no one else does, I don't mind.
Yes, sure, Mataji, please.
My dear Arundhati, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated October 24th, 1969, regarding your work hours. If you can work more, of course, that is very good. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that we should be engaged in Krishna's service always without any gaps. So we should mold our life in such a way that not a minute will be blank without Krishna's service. Regarding your first question, the proof of Krishna consciousness is that the Bhagavad Gita, as it is the oldest transcendental literature about God consciousness in the history of the world. It is estimated from authoritative sources of Vedic literature that Bhagavad Gita is eternal truth and was first revealed within our knowledge at least 120 million of years ago. So what other literature can be compared with Bhagavad Gita throughout the whole world, or without the whole world? Sorry, where are we?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I think we have read this letter yesterday. I think the next one. Yeah, this is letter to Hansa Datta.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Right. My dear Hansadutta, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated October 4th, 1969, and there are 3 important subject matters of which you have tried to get my opinion. I may inform you that they are all very nice proposals. So far as the building is concerned, if you can manage for the money, immediately try to purchase it as Swarupa has done in Boston. Similarly, regarding the land, it is also a very attractive proposal. If the land is not rocky and there is sufficient open space for pasturing ground so that we may keep cows all year round, that is a very nice proposal. Tamal Krishna told me about such land and he's very hopeful about getting our men in that quarter, California. So you can try for it. And if possible, please let me know what is the actual situation of the land. Regarding my accepting a teaching position in Berkeley University, which is said to be the first finest university in the United States. This is also a nice proposal. Actually, I want to have such position for some time in order to attract the university students. But one thing must be noted, that I will not be free to take the class between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. If that is possible, you can negotiate for such post. If actually I get such post, naturally I will have to live in Berkeley. And as you say, the climate is nice there. There will be no difficulty. Regarding your question about Lord Jesus Christ, we accept him as Sakya Vesha Avatar. Lord Buddha is in the same category also. Lord Buddha is mentioned specifically in Srimad Bhagavatam as incarnation of Godhead, and yet Vaishnavas do not accept his philosophy, which is classified as atheism. Similarly, even if we accept Lord Jesus Christ is Shakya of Tara, it doesn't mean that we have to accept his philosophy, but we have all respects for him without fail. Regarding books like Aquarian Gospel or even the Testaments, we cannot accept them as authorities because sometimes it is learned that the words are not actually spoken by Christ, but they are set up by the devotees. For example, in the 10 Commandments, it's clearly stated, thou shalt not kill. But some bishop in Boston has changed it to thou shalt do no murder. This means the bishop wants to keep hold for animal slaughter. So don't bother about these literatures. We have all respect for these great preachers, but we do not require to study books, save and except for some reference. We must push on our philosophy, how to love God. Our process is simple. We have got volumes of books also, so it is better for us to mind our own business than to divert our attention in the studies of other books. This was definitely forbidden by Lord Chaitanya. After all, Krishna conscious philosophy is as old as 120 million years at the least. So nothing can be compared with our philosophy, either in the matter of antiquity, philosophy, ethics, science, morality, etc. All in correct vision and approved by the great stalwart acharyas. So far others are concerned, they cannot be compared even. For example, if Lord Jesus Christ said, thou shalt not kill, or thou shalt do no murder to the people, it does not reflect very good social structure of the audience. Our philosophy is above all of these. Just like we prescribe to our students no illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, but they are not ends in themselves. The real end is how to serve Krishna and sacrifice everything for him, and to learn the transcendental art. We have got so many volumes of books, so the summary is that instead of diverting our attention to read such unauthorized books, better pay our attention to more authorized Vaishnava literature. These scriptures of the Buddhists and the Christians may be the words of God, but still they are not always applicable to us. It is just like a king may give some rules and regulations for some criminals in prison, but for the good citizens out of the prison, these rules are not necessarily applicable. So these Christian and Buddhist scriptures were delivered for different classes of men, and we needn't spend our time in studying these doctrines. You should read our own books over and over again, and as far as possible, and do not try to enter into controversy. We do not concern ourselves with any other religion. Our religion is to become the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. Chaitanya Madhya Lila 13.80. You have sent me one plan for constructing a dais for the deities, in which you have placed Radha Krishna under Lord Jagannath. Instead of putting it like this, you put Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan picture underneath Lord Jagannath and make a separate throne for Radha and Krishna, exactly on the pattern of Los Angeles Temple. Regarding Melvini, I am glad that he has come to you from Montreal, but his photo shows he is not in the standard dress and the tilak is not correctly made. Anyway, you welcome him. He is a very nice gentleman, but try to convince him to follow all our principles. That will be very nice. Please offer my obeisances to your good wife, Himavati. I hope this will meet you both in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. P.S. You will soon have Radha Krishna Murtis. More pairs of them will reach LA very soon, and one of them for you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Any takeaway points, Mataji? Any bullet points?
Can you just take it back to the front? It's a lot of stuff. Okay, so obviously, again, I think in this first bit that Srila Prabhupada is he's trying to talk about farming communities and simple living, high thinking kind of philosophy of, and the Krishna conscious philosophy of like maintaining cows and doing cow service, and obviously he was quite favorable to devotees buying land and then using it in a Krishna conscious way and raising cows, so go seva. And then the next bit, I think this is amazing that Srila Prabhupada said he would take a university post. And he's doing all this stuff and he's like, yeah, I'll come to like wherever it is in America. And it just goes to show like how dedicated he is. Like, obviously, you know, the university preaching is so important because you know, young people that are going to enter the world of work or what have you, if they have this philosophy, if they understand it, then, you know, there's such a huge difference that they can make to society thereafter. And the fact that Srila Prabhupada is just even contemplating that he's going to stay in one place um, and become a university lecturer, I think that's just, you know, in the grand scheme of things, like, he'll do something as kind of as big as what he did, but also as minute, if in some respects, as just teaching in one university. So I think it just shows his vastness and, you know, his ability to be huge and small and and yeah. Um, in the second paragraph, he clearly mentions that, you know, for us, the scriptures are Srimad Bhagavatam, that we don't need to go into the other scriptures because that's for another group of people. We just need to stick to, it's like clearly stated, we just need to stick to our scriptures because they've got everything, they're full of everything that we need. And not that we disrespect anybody, but it's just not necessary for us. Um, and 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 like clearly he talks about books being changed and even like Jesus Christ's words being changed. And I think sadly that's even happened to Srila Prabhupada's books as well, like where, you know, people are making changes, which is really sad. Um, but because I think we need, you know, hopefully we'll be protected by Krishna and Srila Prabhupada so that we can always, you know, have the right meaning behind things. And we can just, there's so much Vaishnava literature, so much that there's never gonna, even one lifetime is not gonna be enough. So what to speak of like going and diving into others, there's no point. Um, and then he and and yeah, and he's talking about we're not at that stage where we're doing the smaller things, so to speak, because we're already able to follow the principles. So therefore, our goal is to love God. We're not, the goal isn't to be vegetarian or to you know, to gamble, whatever. That's not the goal. That's just getting us to even a platform of just being a human being. The real goal is to love Krishna and to serve Krishna and to be the servant of the servant of the servant, as it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we need to focus on that, our goal, and then work backwards from that. And then he's also talking about the way in which the altar should be set up. So Radha Krishna should be at the top, then Jagannath, and then you can have Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan movement. But that's just showing the order of how it should be. So yeah. And then he's just saying that he's going to be sending more deities. Oh, and also the importance of, you know, he has a very specific code for the dress. And I think this is probably one of Srila Prabhupada's most difficult, because obviously Vaishnava attire is one, but especially when we work in different situations, like we have a different attire. So I don't know how that would work. But he's quite strict. And if we see like some really good preachers, like the real preachers, like, you know, they actually don't change their dress. Like he never changed his dress. But I think at one point he said he would wear like certain clothing if he had to, but he actually always wore his Vaishnava attire. And I think that's so brave. That's just my opinion, that, you know, in a society where nobody would do that, really, well, I know people do that, but he actually, in society, he wore his Vaishnava attire and he preached as a sannyasi, which it is so plausible. And yeah, he didn't change, you know, it's like he didn't change his dress or his attire for anybody. I think there's a lot of respect to be given there for that, like, because when you wear a certain, like, so when I'm at work and I wear like Western clothes, I behave in a certain way. When I, it's just my example, like if I'm in if I wear a sari or something, or gopi dress in the temple, then my behavior is a certain different way. It's everything that goes with that dress code, kind of imbibe it. So yeah, I think the importance of the Vaishnava attire is mentioned here as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully explained and summarized all this letter. Any points, dear devotees, you wanted to highlight? So that is from the Srila Prabhupada's letter. We strictly follow our philosophy. We do not disrespect any others, like Lord Buddha and Krishna and their scriptures. But we are full in our scriptures, and we are happy. So our goal is love Krishna and follow the regulative principles and chanting in the dress of Vaishnava attire. So beautifully explained. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, and from the announcements point of view, I think this is festive season. Seems the devotees are now attending a bit less, but I think hope we'll see the devotees back again from tomorrow. I don't have any further special announcements. And if you're all happy, we shall move on to the next part of our program, the Shloka, Srimad Bhagavatam, Shloka learning. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, verse number 18. So I'm going to take that. So, dear devotees, so this session is only for to learn the Sanskrit, because in the Sanskrit, every shloka is composed in such a way it cannot be changed just like a words or by someone else. It is not possible like that. It is Sanskrit means it is there. It will never ever be changed by anyone, because the grammar will show it immediately. So that's why this Bhagavad Gita, all the Puranas, Vedas, everything has been properly composed in the form of the sound vibrations. And when they have been here, there is no possibility to change. Okay, so now we are in the first canto, chapter 2, and verse number 18. So here, this is Suta Goswami saying on the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam to 7 passages. These are the seed verses. That's why we want all the devotees to learn by heart and also recite properly this one, the sound vibrations. This is Nashtaprayushu Abadheshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So the Goswami is saying, by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Irrevocable fact. So that is the beauty of this verse. It is very famous verse. So I request dear devotees, kindly take the turns to recite this Sanskrit verse. The focus is on only the Sanskrit, not going deep into the Katha pastimes. So this is Sanskrit. So I request dear devotees, try to kindly pronounce properly when you're reciting. So you got 3 times to recite this verse. So I request devotees to go through the alphabetical order. Gaurangi Devi Davya Mataji. Gaurangi Mataji. Okay, so meanwhile, when Mataji returns back, can I request Meena Mataji to go and recite
Okay. 3 times you said, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
नष्ट प्रयावेश्य भद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवत उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति पार्वती नैष्टिकी नष्ट प्रावेश्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तम श्लोके भक्ति पार्वती नैष्टिकी नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवप्यु उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भगवती नैष्टिकी.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Can I request Radha Sevka Mataji next?
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवत उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully recited. Can I request Sharanya Mataji?
हरे कृष्ण. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी.
Thank you, Mataji. Properly recited. Can I request Gauringi Mataji now? If Mataji is available. Okay. So here, Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavata, when we are pronouncing Bhagavata, Bha, it is a pronoun sounding is Bha. It is means the light, it is the sound vibration should coming from the chest and the throat. Bha. Sometimes we say Ba, it just comes from only the mouth, not through the sound vibrations coming through the chest. It is Bha. And Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati. Bhagavati, not Bhagavati. It is Bhagavati. Uttama Shloke. It is Shloke. Uttama Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So at the end, Naistiki. So it is on the top there is a hyphen, that is a prolongation of I. So Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. And when we are seeing some kind of reciting here, we need to see this the meanings, the separate words, how it is to be pronounced to properly hear. There is a V here, and that is for continuation of the recitation. When we are splitting there, then we have to see the individual words. Nasta prayeshu. And here, when we are doing here, Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu swabhadreshu. Here we just combine this one when you are continuously reciting. Here, when we are stopping here, then we need to see Nastaprayeshu. Otherwise, Nastaprayeshu Abhadreshu, it will go like that. So both are right, but when you are taking a breath in between, we need to see pronounce Prayeshu and then Abhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. So in such a way, we have to pronounce the sound vibrations. They will never lose those values. Whenever they will completely stay in the mind and in the heart forever. And this grammar is composed in such a way, it will directly go to the heart, and it cannot be changed by anyone by at any point of time. Yeah, that's why they have been preserved for a very long millions of years. Okay, so now can I request dear devotees? So one after another. Saranya Mataji, would you like to go for the first line?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Is it
Mataji.
Nashta Prayeshu Bhatreshu? Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. So this one and just the meaning and the context.
Okay. So the first thing is Nashta Prayeshu Bhatreshu. So Nashta means destroyed. Prayeshu almost to nil. Abhadreshu all that is inauspiciousness. So which means all that is inauspicious will be destroyed and almost nullified when we regularly serve Srimad Bhagavatam and pure devotees. So the first thing is Nashta, which is destroyed, and Prayeshu, almost nil, which is nullified when all the inauspicious things will be nullified when we regularly serve Bhagavatam and pure devotees. Is that so, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. So that is the beautiful meaning of it. This is the age of Nasta. This is the Prayena Alpasha Buddha. That's why for such kind of people, Nasta Prayeshu, Abhadreshu, all inauspiciousness. Okay, so that is properly explained, Mataji. Thank you. Can I request Meena Mataji for the next line?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Next line, Mataji, meaning and the context.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam means regular. Bhagavatam means Srimad Bhagavatam or pure devotee. Sevaya by serving. So he is saying that Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya. So regular, like to reading regular Bhagavatam and doing. So it's Nityam means regular Bhagavatam Sevya. So regular Bhagavatam reading our old Nasta, like destroyed our our yeah, destroyed almost to nil, like all the inauspicious like things by regular reading the Bhagavatam.
Yes.
So it's very pure,
Yeah,
pure
perfectly.
to read every day Bhagavatam. Yeah.
So
So we can always will be the Krishna and and with always thinking about the Krishna or not other things. So it's very important to Nitya Bhagavad Sevya. We have to do it every day.
yeah, how do we take Mataji in day-to-day life as a family?
Yeah, so in the day-to-day life, like at least as you are doing, like Prabhuji so nicely every day, at least in the starting of a morning, we are starting with the Bhagavatam. So it's so good, like so yeah, day-to-day life, like what we are doing, it's something it's really good, and that's how you have systematic every day. We are doing one sloka at least. That is something it's really important day-to-day life as well. So we are so fortunate, like in starting our day with the Bhagavatam.
Yes, thank you so much, Mataji. So that is Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. One has to serve a pure devotee, he is Bhagavata, and Srimad Bhagavatam, also the book, by reading at least a few lines of Srimad Bhagavatam or to hear Shravanam Kirtanam. So few lines either reading or hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam attentively, regularly, attentively. So that is needed, so that all inauspicious things will be eradicated out from one's life. Thank you so much, Mataji. Beautifully explained. Can I request Radha Sevika Mataji next? Bhagavati Uttama Shloki, next third line.
So Bhagavati, onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Uttama is transcendental. Shloke, prayers. So we serve Lord Krishna through transcendental prayers, and then this, like Bhagavatam, is full of prayers. It is full of transcendental prayers which help us to come out of the material space into the transcendental, because we're talking about a transcendental topic and a transcendental situation. So when we talk about this and we glorify Lord, and through these prayers, the whole of Bhagavatam is prayers. It's prayers of his devotees, it's stories of his devotees, it's stories of, like, the whole of Bhagavatam is literally a act of deep love and devotion of the relationships between Lord and his devotees. So, like, I think we're on Canto 1, so Vidura's prayers, Mother Kunti's prayers, then we'll move on to, like, all the other prayers, like Lord Shiva's prayers, Gopi's prayers, Uddhav's prayers, the Mother Earth's prayers. So all of the whole of Bhagavatam is a series of, it's the relationship between the devotee and the Lord. So when we recite these prayers, and then we are building our relationship with the Lord through his devotees, so it's Lord Brahma's prayers or what have you. We're building a relationship of our own through the medium of his very established devotees.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. So that is Uttama Shloki. Uttama Shloki, the best shlokas, and the personality towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we are worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it must be the Supreme Slokas as well, Uttama Shlokas. So Vyasadeva has composed all these Uttama Shlokas. So there is no comparison in this entire cosmic manifestation than glorifying these shlokas. That is the best thing. So wherever, that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost literature. Bhagavati Uttama Shloka, composed with all the best shlokas. Whatever all these prayers, if you touch it, everything, it only gives the nectar. So one will be just immersing himself in the ocean of nectar when we are glorifying the Lord. One side is the Lord and another side is those feelings towards the Lord. Everything will come out. That's why Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muprabho Rasika Bhuyu Bhavukaha. So it is very beautifully said. Nigama Kalpataror Ghalitam Palam Sukumukad Amrita Drava Samgitam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuyu Bhavukaha. Very beautifully says. That is Uttama Shloki, because it is composed of all the best shlokas towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And who is going to recite those prayers? All the devotees related to, very dear to the Lord. Thank you so much, Mataji. And is Gaurangi Mataji available now?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I got cough, Prabhuji. I cannot able to read, Prabhuji. Sorry.
And would you like to recite Mataji if it is possible? 3 times.
Okay, Prabhuji. I will try, Prabhuji. Okay. Okay. Nashtaprayesu abhadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatam sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Nashtaprayesu abhadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatam sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Nashtaprayesu abhadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatam sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat
Thank you so
pranam.
much, Mataji. So beautifully recited. You have shooed away all this cold and cough, those stuff. So that is when we take this one, nothing would affect the body. Okay, this is the beauty of it. So here, and then Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki, the fourth line. Bhakti is the all the pure loving service, and Bhavati, it happened come into being. Naistiki, irrevocable. So there are some people, they have dedicated their lives, they are devotees. Naistiki, entire life is Naistika Brahmachari, Naistika devotees. And here, irrevocable devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It would happen in one's life. Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Okay, so now I request dear devotees to, if you have got any questions with related to this Sanskrit or the words and the meanings, or you wanted to ask any questions or comment,
So
or you
like,
wanted to.
yeah, when we recite Sanskrit, I just sometimes don't know when it's come or where we have to go it. So our breath, because I hear Sinastya Prayeshwa or Bhadreshu, but I was not like so. I was not sure that where you can put
So here, Nashtaprayeshu, this is one word.
So if we are just
When
reading on Sanskrit, how do we know that where is
by just come, this is Nityam Bhagavad Seva. Every day we have to read Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. Those shlokas you would understand, and also when you are reading the synonyms, especially, you would see different words how they have been split. Nasta, Prayeshu, Abhadreshu, Nityam, Bhagavata, Sevaya, Bhagavati, Uttama, Shloke, Bhaktihi, Bhavati, Naistiki. So these are different words. When you see these synonyms, then you come back to this verse, then you would see Nasta, Prayesh, Prayeshu. Here it is combined together for the pronunciation perspective. But when you understand in the mother tongue, either Hindi or Sanskrit or English itself, then you could see these synonyms, how to pronounce. When you're stopping, if you want to take a breath in between, you need to see the synonyms where to stop. If you are able to do this entire line, Nashtaprayeshu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, one breath. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki, another breath. So there are two lines. This is line one. If you see at the end, it is one, and this is the two lines. This is second one. And sometimes there are verses with there are 8 lines. So you would see one, one, one at the end until 7, and the last line you would see these two lines, two vertical lines at the end. That is the last of that verse. So every verse is composed on a meter. We would have studied this one in the grammar in the high schools in the languages. So here, by reading these synonyms, one would understand what it means. So here, Nasta, it is Prayeshu. Here, Prayeshu, Abhadreshu. Completely, it is one word here. But when you see the synonyms, that's why previously when in the childhood, we used to learn meanings of each and every word. And then we try to write this one. Even the Sanskrit, we have to, there is exams like that. So we have to practice the synonyms and then translation as well. It comes by practice. So that's why when you read every day one shloka properly, and then the same shloka, if you repeat for a few days, you will you will take that verse into heart, by heart.
Mhm. Okay. And like only just instead of any other scripture, only Bhagavatam if we read, that is enough.
Yes, Mataji. Even Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, if you take these two scriptures, so all these words, the Sanskrit words, you will come to know everything. But you have to keep repeating, reading the same verse again and again until you learn by heart without any mistakes.
Not just for sloka purpose, but just like as a literature, because there is so many literatures.
Yes,
So because that's why I sometimes confuse what to read, but is that okay just to read Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita?
so Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary literature. So that is just a qualification to enter into the Bhagavatam. There Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, material nature, and the Purusha, and the three modes of material nature. So this have been explained. So once we digest that knowledge, then we enter into Srimad Bhagavatam, and there we see the practical. That is Krishna says to Arjuna, that is kind of the knowledge. And when we see Bhagavatam, it is the life of a devotees and Krishna in their pastimes, and how practically it will be possible, and why one has to take Sarva Dharman Parityajya. So that is Srimad Bhagavatam is entire uh, pastimes of the Lord and devotees. And different phases. Some people they meditate, how they leave their body at the end of their life. So that is so if you take Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, practice these verses. First you read this verse and meaning and then purport, and then coming back to this verse again, and then recite, and then look at the synonyms, and then meditate on this verse. Try to learn this one without looking at the verse 3 times. If you make without mistakes, if you recite that one, so you will learn by heart without mistakes, without looking. So that way one has to practice it.
Yeah, because this sloka is easy to remember, but some of them is very
Yes, Mataji. So because this one is many devotees, you feel it is easy. Other devotees are reciting frequently. So many devotees, when they are starting their Srimad Bhagavatam Pravachana, at the time they recite. Because you hear it, you feel familiar it, and it is feeling nearer to your heart. That's why you are able to remember it. Similarly, other verses, for example, the next verse is Tadarajastama Bhavaha Kamalo Vadayashaye Chetedena Vidham Chidam Sattve Prasidati. This verse may not be recited frequently, but if you keep on practicing, you hear through your ears, and then do repeatedly by your sound, and you hear, then it will come. You feel it closer to your heart.
okay.
So just only abhyasa yogiktena chetasa nanyagami. Abhyasa, just practice. Krishna says that when Arjuna says, I can control the wind, but not this yoga practice, what you are saying. But Krishna says, Abhyasa yogiktena chetasa nanyagami paramam purusham. So that is, he says. Thank you, Mataji. And any questions, dear devotees? So this is just concentrate only on the Sanskrit and how to remember by heart. Many devotees know, but one thing is First time you hear it, then you think, oh, I wanted to remember this verse. Then you have to put into practice. That is very important. That's why I also request recite this verse 3 times. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. So we have been reciting from the beginning from so many weeks. If I ask any devotees, the 6th verse, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahitukya aprithata yayatma suprasidati. So if I request the devotees, if you can recall that one, how easy it would be. So that is by practice only. Keep practicing every day or just meditating on the Lord through these beautiful verses. Then we always retain that sound vibrations perfectly. So that is my takeaway as well. Okay, any other ideas, dear devotees, you wanted to share on this? Saranya Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The thing is like how I feel is like yes, it is very good if we could remember all these verses, and so, but practically there are a lot of verses, and to remember everything is not possible because as of in my case, it is I found it very difficult because I don't know that much Sanskrit and any basics. So when I was reading the Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, so it was written there that if we are in the late 20s or we are in 30s or 40s, it is very late to learn Sanskrit and its grammar, because to learn the grammar and the Sanskrit is very, it almost takes 10 or 20 years to understand that. So to understand that and remember everything is, I found it is difficult. And another thing, what is my experience is that before coming to ISKCON, I read 2 or 3 Bhagavad Gita, entire translation and commentaries by other authors, not Prabhupada's. So I didn't feel anything special, or I was not answered, and I was not fulfilled by reading that. So I was again searching for something. So only after reading Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is by Prabhupada's purport, only I got the answers, I got the enlightenment, and I got what I was searching for. So in my opinion, what I would say is like, it is very important, as you said, it is very right, because you know the thing and you already finished Bhagavatam. So if a neophyte, if a newcomer, I would suggest is like, just give importance to Prabhupada purport and just finish that at least one time, entire Srimad Bhagavatam finished at least one time. Then you can try by hearting these slokas, because that will take more time, because repeating and repeating and memorizing, it will take more time. So once you have finished everything, every cantos, every purport, every translation, then you can sit and meditate on this verse. Because and before that, as these verse, there are many important verses there, na? So Prabhu, so that if we could remember, and so the remembering entire Bhagavatam, I think it is not possible in one lifetime for me. So if there is any particular verses, important verses like these, so that we can by heart, and so that we can, when we say, or when we preach, or when we say someone else, we can quote that verses, that important verses we can use and by heart, that is fine. But I feel like finishing Bhagavatam, finishing Bhagavad Gita, finishing Chaitanya Charitamrita, all that with purport, it should be given first priority. Then we can by heart these things, because for in my case, I found it is very difficult for me to remember everything. But of course, that is very important, that is very useful, because this language got that power. But we not trained to pronounce and this from childhood. I don't think that is practical for in my case, Prabhu. So I just wanted to say that that's how I feel. What I don't know, Prabhu, if you.
Yes, Mataji, so whatever you say is true. But reading Bhagavad Gita, you already come to one conclusion. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotional service is the only way. Follow the regulative principle, chant. So now you are on that platform. So what you need further is only for the dot lines to be combined between those dots. And then while you are doing, when you this is learning of this versus remembering, it is also give some strength and also grasp what is going to be expected in the further purports. Then, even though you don't have to complete entire Bhagavatam, if one purport is sufficient, if you understand completely, and what you expect in the next purport, you would already imagine. And when you read it, then you see whatever you are expecting, Prabhupada has already put those words in the next purport. That is just the power of this Sanskrit learning. And then, of course, what I am here saying, understand that all the devotees are exalted and they are practicing this devotional service. Elevated devotees. This is what my feeling. I'm a student still of Bhagavatam, learning and also trying to share the same thing with all of you. So that is my feeling. So it's all right if everyone is practicing perfectly, but still on the next side, just few minutes, just read the Sanskrit also every day. They said to take one verse. That way, one side is familiarity, another side is learning of the katha of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or translations and purports. That will go as well. But at least one shloka. This is Marine Motinam Pumsam Jalasnanam Dine Dine Sakrit Gitamrita Snanam Samsara Maranashanam. At least one shloka of Srimad Bhagavad Gita every day. Yes, Mataji, Radha Seva Mataji.
I just wanted to say, Sharanya Mataji, like I'm in the same boat. Like I didn't think I could. I'm like born in this country. I don't know where you're born, but I never thought I would be able to read Sanskrit. But actually, even if you just make an attempt, you will see the power in that, and then you'll be able to understand. Like Prabhu, like when Prabhu says that, just even being in his association, and then and just reading it, then Srila Prabhupada will automatically give you that. So like what he's exactly saying, that even if you just read one, you get the power to read more. It's like something mystically that happens, because I can read them now a little bit better than I could before, but it's practice. And I didn't start like when I was like 5, or I started with prayers, but not with like Sanskrit slokas. Before, when I used to pick up Bhagavatam, I just used to read the English and just leave the Sanskrit, because I didn't really know anything about it. But then it uncovers naturally, because all languages actually come from Sanskrit. So when you start just even pronouncing certain words, or the thing is, we've been covered by all these other conditional languages and other things. Yeah. So the more we purify, and brother, please correct me if I'm wrong, the more we purify, the easier it is for us to read those shlokas. Because I'm like completely, if not in a worse position than you, but I do understand the power of it. The more you read it, the more it works on you, and the more you are able to read it, even if you don't know the shloka. Like now I know this shloka, but if there was another shloka now that I didn't know, because I know this shloka, automatically I could just try to read that shloka as well. I can't explain it. It's something that happens internally.
That's too much, Mataji. So if it is a new verse, even for the Sanskrit person who knows already, first of all, he needs to practice at least a few times before reciting that verse properly. That is the familiarity.
Like,
Hare
last time you have asked one sloka which I learned by heart. Now I forget. So,
So this
Hare
for
Krishna.
yes, ma'am.
Prabhu. Yes, as Radha Savika Mataji was saying, yes, I was so afraid of reading this Sanskrit, but now I could read that because of Amoga Prabhu. Yes, I thank you so much for that. Now I am not that much afraid. I could just try that, and I am able to do that. I was not aware how to split the words and how to make it in the correct way. I was not aware, and even before joining the sangha, I do read Sanskrit, but not as how I am doing now. So I used to read the Sanskrit sloka, and used to read synonyms, and but I was giving more important to translation and purport. But now when I read, I do, I don't know if I pronounce it right or not, but I do chant the shlokas, and I read entire synonym. So what I was trying to say is like, it is, whenever we memorize, and if we are not using that regularly, it will get forgot. So I was asking, the thing is like, when there are, so like in our mentorship, we there is some shlokas was selected from Bhagavad Gita, so that we should write something on it. So there is some shlokas were picked up like that. I don't know, so there will be some shlokas mentioned, specialized sloka picked from Bhagavatam and Bhagavatam also, right? So if we could select some such shlokas, and we can by heart, that means we, that will be useful in future also, if we have to recite somewhere, if we have to refer something or some. So because referring to the shlokas is also important. And so I was asking that, so to memorize everything is not possible, right? So I was asking if that is possible to select some few
In
shlokas and by heart that.
Yes,
So
Mataji. Whatever we are doing, these are all the verses to be remembered. It is the first canto, chapter 2. So if we see from verse number uh, 4 onwards, so all these slokas are to be remembered. Second,
yeah,
these are
yeah,
all.
these come up in Bhakti Shastri as well. So Bhakti Shastri actually has certain verses you need to know, and this is one of them. And the ones that Prabhu is doing, I mean, I'm not sure, some of them are the new ones, but they are the ones that are, there is a list of them. I mean, I have the books.
Yeah, there is one book like I think small book with 100 verses or so.
Yeah.
It may be handy, Mataji.
okay, so I was asking, yes, Prabhu, of course, after joining this, I should thank you so much, because I was so afraid to read Sanskrit, but now I could try, like I got that confidence, I can give it a try. So thank you so much for doing that. Uh, Thank you so much. That yes, that is a magic when we, as Radha Mataji was saying, now I could at least understand, like, word should I split and how should I pronounce something. So that's only because of you, Amoka Prabhu. Thank you so much for that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So it is a devotees association. So that's why we every day we recite at least try to make sure that one verse is recited at least 3 times when we are doing Bhagavatam. Sayeshe tarhi adjasta asanam parthiva uchitam. So today we have done those verses. Pitamahena upanyastam rajnya aranyam vivikshata. So when we are reciting, the meaning is you hear different specifically individually and also as the context of the verse and also translation. When you attentively hear it and you understand, when you immediately grasp whenever you needed that attention. So that way every day you familiar with those words, that meanings and the Sanskrit words. So that is my motive, so that you hear the Sanskrit words when you come, and when you're reading it would be easy for you. It was difficult for me as well in the beginning. It was hard for me to learn, but everything is just only when I'm just trying to recite this thing, then only I also getting these things. It is not by Sanskrit scholars or practicing from childhood. It is not like that. Just recently only we are practicing everything.
Can I also add, last week, I need to leave in a moment as well, but in my Krishna club in Bhaktivedanta Mana, so obviously this is also the potency of being in a very spiritual place. But children, I think my year group is like younger this year, so they're like, I think 5-6-year-olds. And for the first time, they all sang the Damodar Ashtakam. And they didn't know it, but we had the words in front of us and they had them in the books. And they were all able, even though some of them can't even probably read English that well, because when we were doing the translations, some of them were struggling. But the actual Sanskrit and the actual prayer, for some reason, they were able to do it at that age. And I can't explain how that could ever happen, but there is a power to it. I don't know, Prabhu, I don't know.
Mataji, yeah, you're right, Mataji. One is the transcendental ambience, the environment. Another thing is the vibrations are in and around you. The devotees are there. Their vibrations are also coming to the children. They would easily do it, even though they are not familiar with it before. They can easily do it when they are in that ambience. Yes, Mataji. This is it is scientifically, some people call it is aura, something like that. When you're going there, around you there are positive signals everywhere. When the great saintly people who does all these austerities, penances, meditation, and they're so merciful. So that's why we go to the pilgrimages and then take a bath wherever they take bath. So that is the power of the devotees. That is science. But from our point of view, Krishna devotees, we have to serve all the devotees to please them. Mataji, we can't hear you, Mataji. Could you please? Your voice is too low. Meena Mataji.
Sorry. Oh, you see. Yeah. Right.
Yes, Mataji.
Mm. Yeah, I just was trying to say that yes, once I had tried to remember by heart, and then after a few days I did not use them, then I first forget. So yeah, I don't know.
This
Can
is,
be.
yes, Mataji, it is natural to forget. So the same verse, it must be repeated at least 30 days. At
Okay.
least 30 days. It is not only 3 times a day.
Mhm.
You have to do it for 30 days, one verse. So you imagine how much effort and time is going to one shloka.
Mhm. Okay. And you were saying chapter 1.2, yeah? That sloka is important.
Yeah, first canto, chapter 2, and verse number 18 now. So, but
Okay.
all the seed verses starting from all the verse number 4 to, I believe the entire chapter of the entire second chapter,
Okay.
and then third chapter. So these two chapters are very important to remember. So at any point of time, when you come to know any reference, you have got these references. It contains everything in it as a seed verses, entire Srimad Bhagavatam in these two chapters.
And also, you always give so much time, like in a Kapil Devhuti, which that chapter you always talk about more, like in your whenever.
So that is, so here these are the seed verses. Because as part of my study, that is Srimad third canto, that is my flow is going on in another canto. That is Kapila Bhagavan is giving those Bhakti Yoga, how to one has to follow Bhakti Yoga to Devhuti Mata. So she was, and since Devhuti got married to Padma Prajapati, that is the past time, and how the conversations are going on, how their life is going on, what kind of things are Kapil Bhagavan is saying, how the yoga is, what is the best thing, and what are the different techniques Kapil Bhagavan is saying. And Devhuti is asking so many questions as well. And then even though Kapil Bhagavan says, just worshipping me is the highest one, do that one. And then Devahuti asked different questions. How it is possible? I wanted to know about the Prakriti and then Purusha. Then Lord will be pleased, and then he would give more knowledge on it. And then she again asks, so Kechit Tvaya Uchta Bhakti Kidrushi Mama Gochita. How can I understand? Please explain me. Technically, I am a woman. So Sukham Buddhyed Durbodham Yosham Twad Anugrahat Yosha Twad. I am a woman. I do not understand all this philosophy. For me, Sukham Buddhyed Durbodham, which is difficult to understand. Please tell me in an understandable way for me. Sukham Buddhyaya Durbodham. It is very difficult to understand. Yosha Bhavad Anugrahat. I am a woman. By your mercy, please tell me in such a way. Yo yo Bhagavad Bhanu Nirvana Atman Tvayoditaha. How to leave this body? That is the Yo Yoga Bhagavad Bhanu. It is the arrow of the yoga, directly pointing towards the supreme destination. See, so beautifully, it is the questions should be arised in one's heart. How? Why? Otherwise, simply just hearing, and then if we do not, okay, yes, I'm chanting, following the regulative principles, then whenever time comes, of course, we are still on this platform, but the knowledge is like that. It is a soft curve. We do not know some kind of points. Oh, it is existed. Of course, we are following it, but when we are giving, speaking to someone else, yes, this is the Sanskrit verse. This is the conversation has happened. This is the practical experience. This is theory and practical. Those would come into the picture.
So that Kapil Dev, which chapter you said, Prabhuji? That one?
In the third canto, chapter 25 and 28, and they are very, very important. And before that also, how Devahuti was feeling, and feeling that separation from her husband, how she is being disturbed by the senses. Because the senses they do not make one peaceful, so they always want it to be fulfilled, so it will always disturb us. Nirvinna nitram bhuman asad indriya tarshanat. These are senses are disturbing me unnecessarily. Unless I fulfill those things, they do not let me be peaceful. So by the time Kadma Prajapati has left, so now she has got only her child, Kapiladev, and then she's asking all these questions. But getting this knowledge from the husband, it is a bit difficult, because a woman comes to the man with a different purpose. That is Indriyartha Prasangena, but that is only for the sense gratification. The woman and the man come together. But in the Devahuti's case, her father and Devahuti also desired to um, marry Kadma Prajapati. Initially, it was for the sense gratification. But Kadma Prajapati meditated Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for 10,000 years to get a good wife. That is the past times. Okay, that is a different flow. One has to go in the Bhagavatam in their own path, understanding what is happening. But actually, this Bhagavatam, first canto, second and third chapters are very, very important. So summary of all these things we would see in these shlokas. When we remember these shlokas, and all those pastimes will be coming together, and all this Bhagavatam will be again linked to Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna has spoken. So that is Gitam Bhagavatadhanam Yattat Sangrama Murdhani. Whatever the knowledge Krishna has spoken, that is the ultimate thing. All these pastimes will be having root to Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Gauringi Mataji wanted to say anything. Mataji, you do Sanskrit very beautifully and always recite very nicely, and also give us some tips how other devotees also can learn and recite nicely and remember.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Are you talking about this verse, Prabhuji?
In generally, the Sanskrit you recite very nicely and beautifully, and also give us some tips and to all of us.
Okay.
We will see.
This verse is very important, Prabhuji. I think when we going to read Bhagavatam, so first we read this verse, this sloka. Then this is very important. Then this always who give to pravachan, they always read this one. That's why this verse is I know before too. So I recite easy too. Then this is when this verses we always need to read Bhagavatam. If we can uh, have more time, then we can read many verse. Otherwise, one verse or 2-3 verse we have to read every day. So we devotees have should Bhagavatam, and they want to keep everybody house. Prabhupada says everybody devotees need to keep to this Bhagavatam, then read. When we read, then we got bhakti. Also, we got Prabhupada's mercy. So this verse is, I think, very important, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully explained with your personal practice and understanding and how one has to come to this one. So beautifully explained. So dear devotees, so kindly follow Gauringi Mataji's instructions. Read Bhagavatam every day and by the means, and also keep Srimad Bhagavatam, not by the phones, by the books. It is the literary reincarnation. Krishna is present in this through like that in our home. And read every day. Honor Srimad Bhagavatam. Respect him. So that is my request also. Just follow Gauringi Mataji's instructions. Anything else, dear devotees? We are already 8 o'clock. Before we conclude and continue with further japa. These small conversations, they would add so much value to our life in taking decisions, what to go. So that's why it is very important. Okay, so
Hare Krishna
yeah,
Prabhuji.
this month.
This verse I saw in Prabhupada was in last days. Prabhupada was saying this Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So on his last days, he was reciting this verse. So it is very important to know the meaning. Like Prabhupada was asking us to read Bhagavatam daily. However, we have to follow that lifelong, like at least one shloka daily we have to read. So I just remember that I saw that video, and it was so inspirational to read Bhagavatam every day. So it is final instruction in a way to read Bhagavatam daily. So he made so much effort to give this literature to all of us so that we can relish Srimad Bhagavata. So yes, he was requesting in his last days to follow that Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So yes, it is very important. Somehow we have to include that habit in our daily life. In addition to chanting, we should yes, you are doing that so nicely, and individually also we can also try to uh, read ourselves and follow that daily. I just wanted to add that, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So that's why our morning program is called Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. The morning program is Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Japa session, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so anything else or we shall conclude? Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindubhya eva cha padithanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
नमो
नमः.
नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण
Everyone,
धन्यवाद
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurav